Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin Choice and you're watching Choice TV. I wanted to get on here and talk about the fact that a lot of y'all don't realize that a lot of your favorite entertainers are scammers and shit people who don't pay their taxes and individuals who basically try to navigate and play the system and use their star power and stardom to get away with a lot of shit. And what mostly inspired this video, where if y'all didn't know, the famous pop singer Sean Kingston, whom if y'all didn't know, is getting a lot of flack right now because he's involved with a lot of scams, fraudulent behavior, not paying his team, not paying people he's associated with, and trying to use his star power to get free shit, on top of his mother also being involved with her scamming activities.
In a courtroom today, South Florida rapper Sean Kingston and his mother are facing state and federal charges. They're both accused of a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme.
Oh, and it gets worse. The piece of caca even went as far as trying to scam jewelers, where basically he promised a lot of jewelers promotion and all types of things, and basically he ran off with thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, and the family who owned the jewelry store even outed him.
Customer called me up, want to sell some jewelry to Sean Kingston. I say, yo, be careful, this guy's a crook. He's a scumbag. That's what he do. He screw people.
I met Sean Kingston, turned around, he pulled a gun out on me. He was like, you're not going nowhere, I ain't got all my money. And then I guess he got nervous because I didn't get nervous about the gun. Let me count since your man can't count. You got all your money, you need to count slower.
Did he point the gun at you or he
yeah,
just
because I was in the backseat, we were in the coupe. Just pulled the gun out, cocked it back, turned around, was like, you ain't going nowhere, I ain't got all my money. It shouldn't be broken, I don't think. He can't be out here just trying to get over on people that do pulling out guns on people.
So who was the one that actually pulled the firearm?
Sean Kingston, like he had the firearm.
Then we can't forget about the infamous scandal where Sean Kingston was offered a jet at a discounted rate in exchange for promotion and many more things. And Sean Kingston, instead of paying for the jet and instead of following through with everything he promised, he went on to use the jet for his personal tour and his personal usage, just to literally go ghost on a company that lent him the jet for a discounted rate.
Story time of how Sean Kingston scammed me and my company. So I am a private jet broker for NEVAAA Jets, and I also run their social media. So one day we got a message from Sean Kingston. He was interested in one of our planes for sale and came to Palm Beach with his family to see the plane. He said he was going on tour and wanted this plane ready soon, and there was no Wi-Fi. So we flew the plane from Palm Beach to Fort Lauderdale for our mechanics to install the Wi-Fi for him, for it to be ready for his tour. And this was out of our expense. We have to pay the pilots and for the fuel and everything. He came again to Fort Lauderdale, brought his family and friends. We popped the champagnes, we shook hands, agreed on a price, and they signed the contract. The contract stated that the payment is due in full within the 3 days of signing. And Sean was posting that this is his jet, that he bought it with not even $1 down. He's telling us that we can be in him and Justin Bieber's new music video, just leading us on, saying that he would promote NEVAAA Jets, and just a bunch of crap. When the third day came and the payment was due, they went ghost and they blocked us.
Just bought a jet, I just bought a jet, I just bought a jet, I just bought it. Hey, God is amazing. When they tell you they can't, you can't. They hating on you, they want you to stop. They try to just make you get in depression and feel less about yourself. Tell them niggas you.
So I decided to make a video and talk about all the entertainers who got caught up with their scams and why a lot of your favorite entertainers are living above their means. In a world where a lot of people are struggling, because let's be real, a lot of people are struggling. Inflation's at an all-time high. Globally, no matter where you go, things are insanely expensive, and people who are native to their own cities, wherever they live, can barely afford to live there, and they're having to navigate elsewhere in other cities. The sad part about everybody struggling is a lot of people are in excruciating credit card debt. Now, you guys see a lot of your favorite entertainers and influencers and YouTubers get on the internet and they flex their luxurious lifestyles. A lot of them are really getting to the bag and doing pretty well, but a good majority of them are actually scammers, sugar babies, hookers, and escorts. But it's not okay when they put on a crazy facade and a crazy image to make it seem like they're doing so well and they're involved with really great activities. And then they go as far as to sell you guys classes and courses on how they can coach you to be successful. They haven't even made that their damn selves. They make money based off of them teaching you how to do things. A lot of reality TV stars, entertainers, musicians, and even rappers are involved with human trafficking, are involved with, moving weight to get a profit. And a lot of them are involved with a lot of salacious and inappropriate activities just to take care of themselves. Speaking of human trafficking, did y'all know that the actress from Smallville, Allison Mack, was really out here trafficking people?
Why are you looking at me like that?
From starring in Smallville to landing in Big Trouble, actress Allison Mack, who played Chloe Sullivan in the Superman prequel series, barely said a word in a federal courtroom Friday as she was charged with sex trafficking. Prosecutors say under the guise of a women's self-help and empowerment group, the Albany-based organization that calls itself NXIVM was seducing women to abandon their old lives and come join the cult, where some members were brainwashed, branded, and used as sex slaves for the group's leader, Keith Raniere. Mack, a business partner and so-called slave master, was said to be second in command. Prosecutors say Mack led the recruitment for the group and specifically targeted vulnerable women and starved women to fit the sex ideals of Raniere.
I want to see her put away. She's dangerous, she's sick, she's evil, she's dark, and she's done harm to many people.
But the list of entertainers that have been accused or may be involved with trafficking is a whole other video. But damn, not Allison Mack. Again, you would think these people are doing so well because they were on these hit TV shows, but obviously, looks can be deceiving. You really never know who's struggling, going through it, and trying to hustle and screw people over to make a profit to sustain their lifestyle. White Girl Cyrus was a very popular R&B singer during the pandemic, and he did exceptionally well after his song Worth It blew up. But did y'all know that he was out here struggling financially to the point where he blew all his money away and he was out here borrowing money from Drake? Then Drake literally embarrassed his ass as a way to pay back that money.
I ain't gonna owe you no more. I ain't gonna owe you no more. You owe me 60 bands? And you have to perform the song right now in the crib. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? I'm giving you an out. I'm not Baby. I'm not Boosie. You don't owe me no 2 rags, 5 rags. You owe me 60 bands? I'm playing the song right now. You ready? I need a full. You don't owe me no money right now. I swear, I need a full performance though. The real shit though. I'm serious. You just gotta be ready.
And to be honest with you, let's go a little bit deeper. Did y'all know that some of your favorite entertainers like Wesley Snipes even did jail time because he didn't pay his taxes worth over $30 million?
It means the day of reckoning for Orlando-born actor Wesley Snipes is December 9th. By noon, he has been ordered to report to prison in Pennsylvania or risk additional criminal charges. In 2008, Snipes was found guilty in Ocala of failing to file income taxes for a 3-year period in which he earned just under $40 million. His sentence, 3 years in prison. But this isn't a done deal just yet. Snipes is appealing on 2 fronts. His legal team has indicated they may take the repeal of Snipes' conviction to the U.S. Supreme Court. And just today, Snipes' legal team filed with the U.S. 11th Circuit Court in Atlanta.
Can you tell us, Dan, in simple terms, why is your client going to jail Thursday?
My client, because the jury...
Let me just say, we still have prayers out there, Larry, and we still believe in miracles. So don't send me up the river just yet. All right?
Okay.
Don't send me up the river just yet. All right?
Okay.
He ended up doing 28 months in prison, facing jail time in December of 2010, and then, of course, getting out of jail in 2013. Obviously, he was found guilty, and he got a misdemeanor charge for failing to file his taxes with over $30 million worth of revenue. And, of course, he did face charges for trying to claim an $11 million return.
For over 8 years, he engaged in numerous steps of tax defiance conduct, everything from submitting bogus bills of exchange to the government, to accusing the government that the actual tax prosecutors are at risk if they go after him.
And I must say, I did not realize, or I still haven't figured out, why they felt it was so important. You know, the idea that they classified it as the biggest trial in the history of the... I thought, wow, am I really that important?
Taxes are not a joke. If you have a business or any business of some kind, pay it. Ari Lennox even came forth recently and said that she's in a lot of financial trouble and she's struggling to literally pay off her taxes. This woman has traveled the world and made millions of dollars and she can't even afford to pay her taxes in full. And it's like, damn girl, what happened to that shea butter baby money?
I'm just gonna tell you all my business. I need to pay this IRS. So, the strange things I'm finna do for change. just so I can just break even. I'm gonna go crazy, and then we start anew, and then we start paying stuff off, and then we start saving, and then we retire.
Then we have Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart literally did 5 months in jail. That's something that most people don't talk about unless you grew up in that era. She did 5 months in jail because she was living above her means and she was involved with a lot of stock trading scams, which then caught up with her ass.
The home decorating diva is accused of lying to the government about a stock trade. In December of 2001, she abruptly sold nearly 4,000 shares of Imclone, worth $227,000, just a day before bad news broke about the company's cancer drug. That trade saved her at least $46,000 in losses.
And let's face it, she sold that stock at a very suspicious time.
Charles Gasparino broke the Stewart story for the Wall Street Journal and is now writing a book on the Wall Street scandals.
How would anybody know to sell a day before that announcement? And by the way, if she did have information that people didn't have, she should be held accountable.
Stewart told investigators she had a standing order with her broker, Peter Bukanovic, who's also on trial, to sell the stock if it fell below $60. But Bukanovic's assistant is expected to testify his boss lied about that alibi. Imclone's founder, Sam Waxel, a close friend of Stewart's, is already serving 7 years for insider trading. If convicted, Stewart could face up to 30 years in prison for a transaction that saved her all of $46,000. Her career could now be at stake.
Are you serious? This is the home goods lady. This lady freaking makes turkeys and pies and cupcakes and shit. And essentially the gist of it was this. She invested into a company called Imclone, where basically they were developing a cure for cancer or a treatment for cancer. And essentially, since the FDA was going to reject it, Martha got an anonymous tip, well, anonymous at the time, from someone who was associated with her brokerage team and someone who was associated with her financial team, who told her that because the FDA was going to reject it, she needs to sell her stock immediately. Now, this information was illegally obtained, and that led to her, of course, selling her stock because she got some secret tips.
There was a message from Peter Bukanovic, her stockbroker, that read, Peter Bukanovic thinks Imclone is going to start trading downward. The government claims that Stewart returned the call but spoke to Bukanovic's assistant, Douglas Fanuel, who told her that Sam Waxel was trying to sell off his shares. The government says Stewart, being a former stockbroker, should have known that the tip was improper, yet she proceeded to sell all her shares.
How much money did you actually save by selling your Imclone stock the day before that announcement?
I think it amounted to approximately $40,000, about 0.006% of my net worth.
So this was not a big amount of money.
Not at all.
But let's go a little bit further. A lot of our favorite entertainers didn't just do problematic stuff, didn't just avoid paying their taxes. Some of them even went as far as legitimately scamming people just to make a profit.
Listen, let it out. It's okay. This is a safe place.
So, a couple of years ago, I had the IRS come see me, asking me questions about stuff. All of a sudden, I get a call from my lawyer. What? What the are we talking about? You don't have to worry about it. I know what to do. You have a good day. Saying, you've been indicted.
British Williams, as we all know, is a 34-year-old reality TV star whom we all know from Basketball Wives LA. But did y'all know that British Williams pleaded guilty to 15 felonies, including 5 counts of social security number misuse, 4 counts of bank fraud, 3 counts of false statements to the IRS, and 3 counts of wire fraud? British Williams, who was 33 at the time, pleaded guilty in May to 15 felony and 5 counts of misuse of social security numbers. She was out here literally pretending that she couldn't work and she had no financial means during the pandemic. And she tried to get all types of COVID relief. She tried to get all types of money. Same thing with her man, Lorenzo Gordon, who's her ex-boyfriend, who also was facing charges and was also indicted earlier this year in January. So she was out here finessing, scamming, and screwing people over. British Williams was sentenced to 4 years in prison for committing over $564,000 worth of fraud. On top of all this fraud, she also has to do 4 years in prison, and she also has to pay over $500,000 in restitution fees because of her horrible crimes. This was all displayed on the TV show Basketball Wives, and paparazzi followed her for weeks leading up to her prison sentence, and as of now, she's currently in prison.
Go! Move the camera!
Well, you be in the case. Come on, hurry. That's not even fucking funny.
BITXH also made over $144,000 in PPP loans, making it seem like she was going to start businesses with these loans, and she even took advantage of California's rent relief program, and she basically committed fraud in order to obtain a shit ton of money to pay for her lavish lifestyle, her trips across LA, her trips overseas, and to pay for her many fancy-ass friends' lifestyles as well. How unfortunate is that there's people who are actually struggling and need the money, but you got this chick who's in a big-ass house and traveling the fucking world, and she's submitting for the fact that she can't pay her bills because of the pandemic express. Then we have Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore. Mike the Situation, also known as Mike Serino, famous from Jersey Shore, faced legal troubles back in 2014 related to tax fraud.
Incarceration. Mike Serino, better known as The Situation on MTV's Jersey Shore, was sentenced Friday to 8 months in prison for his role in a scheme to evade taxes.
How you feeling, man?
The reality star didn't have much to say after the sentencing, which was handed down in Newark federal court. His brother, Mark Serino, was also charged in the case. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison.
We're disappointed. We asked for a probation term. We had hoped for a probation term.
Authorities say the reality star, along with his brother, purposely underreported an income that amounted to $8.9 million.
All that fucking money he made, he couldn't even pay his taxes on time. Mike and his brother Mark Serino were charged with several counts of tax-related offenses, including conspiracy to defraud the United States. And here are a few key details that they were involved with. They were involved with tax evasion and were accused of failing to pay taxes on $8.9 million of income that Mike earned between 2010 and 2012. And they also failed to report property report income from multiple sources, including promotional events and TV appearances. And Mike pleaded guilty to 1 count of tax evasion. He was sentenced to 8 months in federal prison and was ordered to pay $123,000 in restitution, along with a fine of $10,000. His brother Mark received a 2-year prison sentence for his role in the scheme.
Why is your brother indicted for your failure to pay taxes?
He was my business manager, and he was a part of my LLCs, and when they indicted us, it was just various crimes between both of us. At the end of the day, I didn't file in 2011. I had just made $5 million. It's Christmas dinner. Mom's got shrimp arragganata on the oven, and I got the Lamborghini outside, and my brother comes up to me and he's like, you know, you just made $5 million, it's time to file. And then I'm sitting there high on rocks. I was just GQ's sensation of the year. It was 2010. I'm all high on myself. And he hesitated. He's like, or we can get him next year. And I was like, we'll get him next year. And that's exactly how it happens. It's like a Martin Scorsese movie. It's like there's some humor in it or whatever. And 3 years later, Uncle Sam came knocking at the airport with 7 windbreakers with the subpoenas that you're being investigated by a grand jury for tax crimes.
After his 8-month sentencing, he seems to have taken accountability, hopefully. JT, who we all know from the City Girls, Jatavia Shakara Johnson, known for the City Girls, basically, essentially, went to jail for scamming. And we all know this because it was a big part of her brand. And for some reason, people are going around screaming, "Free JT." It's sad because it's always one particular culture that always promotes freeing certain people that committed a fucking crime. So I never understood the whole Free JT, Free British, and all these other people. She began her sentencing in July of 2018. But of course, she got an early release despite receiving a 2-year sentence. Even though she was still fairly successful and is doing okay now, it did take an effect on her group because she couldn't go on tour. She couldn't travel the world. She couldn't promote herself. She could do more music videos. She couldn't do things. Her being in jail obviously made her famous and stand out even more, but she couldn't even really enjoy the fruits of her labor. And by the time she got out of jail, we were already in a global pandemic express. That's why you gotta be careful what you do, because energy attracts energy. You put out a certain energy and it will come right back. So that's why, even if we're humans and we make mistakes, try your best to literally do things within the law, because the universe or God, whatever you believe in, sees everything. You may think you'll never get away for scamming people or playing or fucking people over, but it will catch up with you. It will. And eventually, you'll have a moment where you'll ask people for money and nobody will want to help you because everybody knows that you're on that whole fucking people over shit. Then we have G Herbo. G Herbo, one of the most prominent Chicago rappers to come out of the city, was involved in a federal fraud case that surfaced in 2020. The case was centered on an alleged multi-million-dollar fraud scheme involving stolen identities and unauthorized use of credit card information.
Known Chicago rapper G Herbo. He and 5 other men charged with using stolen credit cards to charter private jets, rent exotic cars and a villa in Jamaica, and buy designer puppies. The 6 men were charged in federal court in Massachusetts. This week, G Herbo made Forbes' annual 30 Under 30 list, which highlights young leaders and entrepreneurs.
Here's a basic breakdown of the shit G Herbo's ass was involved with that many people oftentimes don't pay attention to and overlook. So the Chicago rapper was doing a lot more than y'all think. The Chicago rapper was also involved in a lot of credit card fraud with his associate, Antonio Strong. They were involved in buying private jets, luxury expenses, and they spent over $62,000 on a private jet expense. They bought over $10,000 worth of Yorkshire puppies, spent thousands on luxury vacations, and they spent thousands of dollars on car rentals, and they even lied and pretended that they were representing labels like Sony and Universal just to illegally obtain this credit card information. And it's sad because they spent over $2 million on several people's information all across the US. And it's sad because to be a big rapper and to be literally scamming, it tells you a lot about how much rappers are really making. But that's why I always say, be careful who you idolize and be careful who you look at on social media, because yes, you see the jewelry and yes, you see the nice clothes, but let's be real. A lot of them are renting this stuff. A lot of them get this stuff for free. A lot of entertainers aren't paying for this shit. They get it for free, and that's where they have a luxury lifestyle. They're selling a luxury lifestyle to you, and it's a shame that the youth and a lot of young men that look like these scammers and female scammers want to look like these people and dress like these people. But that's that for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. People just want to know what you guys thought about this video, and yeah, that's that. Choice out this bitch. Remember them walls I feel them all tumbling down. For the first fire, I for the hey, ooh, I feel the angel now. It's like I wanna awaken. When your fears are for the faking, if the fears are for the faking, I ain't never gonna shout you out. Never heard how to feel it over your face. Baby, I can be your halo. And know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. And living all over your face. Baby, I can be your halo. And although I can be your halo. Halo, I can be your halo. Halo, I can be your halo. Halo. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, that's that. Thank you.